Almost 12 hours ago, I informed you that the US was going to impose sanctions on Ethiopia and Eritrea. An hour ago, Joe Biden, US President, signed an executive order. The US has announced what it is going to do. It has not announced any sanctions. It is just telling Ethiopian government that these sanctions could be put in place by the US against Ethiopia and Eritrea in coming days. We'll talk about the nature of these sanctions. But before that, viewers, Somalia. There is sheer chaos in Somalia these minutes. National Security Advisor Fahad Yassin, a close ally of President Farmajo, has been held at an airport in Djibouti. Fahad Yassin was on board a flight which was about to land in Mogadishu, capital of Somalia, but reportedly Somali security officials stopped this flight from landing in Mogadishu, and the flight was rerouted to Djibouti, and Fahad Yassin's flight landed in Djibouti, where Fahad Yassin was taken into custody. Farmajo's spokesperson is saying that if any harm is done to National Security Advisor Fahad Yassin, Djibouti's government will be responsible. I have been updating you about ongoing tension between the President Farmajo and Prime Minister Roble of Somalia. Tensions have reached a point now that forces loyal to both the leaders are in Mogadishu. How did this start? What's going to happen? Viewers, I have informed you in previous videos that an intelligence officer of NISA, National Intelligence and Security Agency of Somalia, a female officer, Ikran Tahlil, disappeared and she was killed. Her family accused NISA that NISA, her department, was behind her killing. PM Roble sought a report from NISA. NISA's head Fahad Yassin did not submit a report. PM Roble fired Fahad Yassin. Fahad Yassin is a close ally of President Farmajo. President Farmajo told Fahad Yassin to continue working. PM Roble appointed a new head, General Bashir of NISA. PM and President were face to face. They held a meeting. President Farmajo backed down. Fahad Yassin was removed from NISA, but Farmajo appointed him as National Security Advisor. Tensions still remained, viewers. Then Farmajo appointed a 5-member inquiry commission to look into the death and disappearance of Ikran Tahlil. Ikran Tahlil's family and PM Roble rejected this commission. After that, PM Roble instructed Central Bank of Somalia that no funds should be withdrawn from Central Bank of Somalia without his approval. Then, viewers, yesterday, President Farmajo issued a directive. He stripped PM Roble of his powers of hiring and firing government officials. PM Roble rejected this directive, this order of President Farmajo. Then, viewers, today, close ally of Farmajo, Fahad Yassin, former head of NISA, current National Security Advisor of Somalia, has not been allowed to land in Somalia. He landed in Djibouti, where he has been taken into custody. Tensions are running high in Mogadishu, where both Roble and Farmajo has strong backing of their clans, and forces loyal to them are in Mogadishu. Reportedly, UN Security Council has called an urgent meeting today to discuss this worsening situation in Mogadishu. One of them will have to go. Somalia is about to hold elections, presidential elections in October. Farmajo is contesting this election, viewers. Other candidates other candidates are backing PM Roble, viewers. And Farmajo believes that PM Roble is damaging his prospects of re-election. So that is why we could see one of them leaving, viewers. Who will go? Let's see what happens. Coming hours, very crucial for Somalia, for Mogadishu. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopia. Joe Biden just an hour ago signed an executive order. The US government has not imposed sanctions so far, but it has announced the sanctions, that these sanctions will be imposed in coming weeks if firstly, if humanitarian aid is blocked. Secondly, if ceasefire is not negotiated, if human rights abuses continue. And the target of these sanctions can be any individual or entity. It means that governments, forces, banks, corporations, all bodies which are obstructing humanitarian aid supplies, which are a hindrance to ceasefire, which are involved in atrocities, they can be put under sanctions in Ethiopia and in Eritrea by the US. So the US is saying that any individual or entity which is a hindrance to the resolution of Tigray conflict will be put under sanctions. The sanctions will be economic sanctions, financial sanctions, visa restrictions, all types of sanctions, especially financial sanctions, are being considered by the US government. The question, viewers, is what will happen? Will Ethiopian government start talks with TPLF after this threat, this warning from the US? Well, Ethiopian government is not expected to start talks with TPLF. I think we'll see a very strong statement from Ethiopian government. It will launch a nationalist, patriotic rhetoric against the US. And once again, we could see Ethiopian government turning to Russia and China for their diplomatic and moral support. We're waiting for a statement from Ethiopian government. Thanks for watching.